We are rolling. Welcome to Caliente Topics. My name is Veronica Russell, and this is your daily tax webcast. I'm with Patrick Russell, EA from MMTAXMAN.com, and welcome to another webcast. Good morning to you, Patrick.
Good morning, Veronica. Today we have a very interesting topic, and the reason being is because it's so difficult for clients to wrap their minds around. Today we're going to be talking about legal expenses and legal costs, and what is the rule on your ability to deduct legal expenses, attorney fees, even in situations where the result was a settlement that came to you. In the past, and when I say in the past, the big change was in 2017 with the passing of Trump's TCJA. One of the main provisions that started in 2018, and we had to start implementing it in our tax preparation, was the removal of the Schedule A miscellaneous itemized deduction subject to the 2% of AGI, the miscellaneous itemized deductions. Now, a lot of our clients understood that this was happening when it came to their on-the-job expenses, claiming the Form 2106 and employee unreimbursed expenses. That was part of the category of the 2%, but that wasn't the only item that was removed from the miscellaneous deduction subject to 2% of your AGI. Legal fees, attorney fees when it comes to personal lawsuits and settlements has now been suspended. So since 2018, 19, 20, and up to right now, if you were to engage in a lawsuit and win, you would receive a 1099 from your attorney that would represent the total amount of your settlement. And unlike before 2018, where you would be able to take the money you paid to your attorney and take it as a Schedule A miscellaneous itemized deduction, that part of the Schedule A has been completely removed. There's no place to put it. And so now we have situations, and Veronica, why don't you kind of highlight to the audience what personal lawsuits would be talking about where the attorney fees would not be deductible?
Yeah. So I do have a list of a couple of things that I get asked all the time. Fees that are not deductible on your taxes can be child support, purchasing real estate, civil or charges related to a personal relationship. And
like domestic assault, pretty much, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Personal injury, a divorce, that's not part of the...
Property claims or settlements, that's a big one too. If you have a business, activity to which this lawsuit and thereby the attorney fees can be attached to, that's different. What schedules would we have on our tax return to give us the chance of taking those legal fees?
So Schedule C, which is sole proprietorship or single member LLC.
Very good.
We also have a Schedule E if you have a rental property and you pay some type of legal fees for eviction. It's the
Excellent.
more common one. That will be deductible on your taxes. But once again, keep in mind that what we're explaining in this webcast is
personal.
A deductible, it's only when it's related to a business. If
Very
it's
good.
personal, and I get this question all the time, child support. Guys, ladies, child support is not deductible.
Divorces,
it's not deductible, and a lot of people get upset about it, but it's what it is. It's just a regulation, and then what Patrick explained about the 2%, it's in 2007.
It's been suspended. There's literally no line item on the tax return in order to report your legal fees. Now, there is one exception to the rule. The one exception to the rule is if your lawsuit had to do with some type of discrimination.
Yep.
If there was an age, race, sex, employment, discrimination type of lawsuit, the attorney fees that are associated with this discrimination case can be deducted as I'm going to get wonky on you, it's an adjustment to income. It doesn't appear on your Schedule A. It appears on your 1040 as an adjustment to income. It has its own separate line item that says legal fees for discrimination case. Too easy.
Yep.
But unless you're talking about a discrimination case, those legal fees, once again, are not deductible. And believe you me, guys, come 2018, I did a lot of research. I did a lot of editorial reading just to make sure I was right about this, because this even blew my own mind. How could you tell me that you get a 1099 from an attorney, you won $150,000, you paid $75,000 to the attorney, meaning it didn't go into your pocket, and it's not deductible? I've done the research. And the answer is no, it's not deductible.
And another thing to be mindful
and
is
it's a hard one. And I got to believe it's something that Papa Joe Biden is looking at very seriously as a way to at least even out some of the... I think the idea behind that tax policy was also to eliminate frivolous lawsuits, right? Remember now, tax policies isn't just about collecting tax revenue for the government. It's about social policy and protecting, or I should say guiding the society into promoting behaviors that it wants, and then, of course, discouraging behaviors it doesn't want. And I do believe that the removal of the legal fees is a political move that may be reversed once now we have a different person in charge. But we'll see about that, because I haven't heard a lot of editorials about replacing or bringing back the 2% miscellaneous adjustment to the itemized deduction. Haven't seen it yet, but gosh, as you can see, real life situations where you're spending a lot of money that doesn't go into your pocket, but yet you're being taxed for it. It just really goes against the grain of common sense thinking, and I agree with you 100%, but that is the way it is right now.
One last recommendation is, if you are in the middle of a lawsuit and that has to be with employment and discrimination, make sure that you talk to your lawyer about making sure that they stipulate what's one thing and what's the other thing, instead of like putting one into one place and you're like, wait a minute, I mean, I have like $100,000 legal fees and they put everything into not deductible expenses. So just be mindful of that, obviously.
Great point. Not only do you want to coordinate with your attorney to make sure that you're invoicing, which will then be your proof of purchase and for potentially a later examination, but you also want to coordinate with your attorney, thank you for bringing this up, as far as the verbiage of the settlement agreement is concerned. It's very critical that you make sure that the words stipulate exactly what this lawsuit situation entailed, to include if it was a discrimination case, to include if it was a physical injury case, which that's the one exception to the rule in most settlements, that if you receive money from physical injury, that it is a tax-free economic benefit.
I had many cases in the past where, the client told me, hey, well, it was like a couple of things. It was not pay wages, it was discrimination, and then at the end of the day, he was not able to deduct anything because it was stipulated on the contract. So
the settlement agreement.
The settlement agreement. That's why it's very important, if you're going through something similar to that, make sure that before you sign something, make your lawyer aware, which they supposed
the tax implications of the verbiage.
They're supposed to know. Don't get me wrong, but
they won't know.
Yeah, well.
But you can tell them.
It's not going to affect them per se with the commission that they get, but then it's going to affect you on your taxes and the ability to not probably pay anything on that.
Final note. We've gone through an audit representation where legal fees and having to defend the legality of the deductions became an issue.
Yeah.
The auditor only wanted to see one thing. The settlement agreement. He wanted to see the judgment, and he read it word for word. So you can't allow your attorneys to simply write whatever cookie-cutter templated settlement that they want to just so that they can close the case. It needs to be specific to your situation with tax implications in mind. And so you do need to bring that up and have a conversation with your attorney prior to signing any settlement agreement, making sure that the tax implications are spelled out.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching this webcast, Patrick. We're gonna come back with another webcast on legal fees.
There's always more to talk about, guys. This is an ongoing conversation, but please subscribe to our show so that you can be part of the daily pro bono tax-free workshop that we're putting together for you guys. Remember, guys, no matter what happens today, no matter what you might face, what challenges or obstacles that come your way, you just need to remember one thing.
Give him hell.
I'll think of a new saying for this. Take care, guys.